Today is Monday, March 21st, 2022, 1 p.m. Or a little after 1 p.m. And we are going to go ahead and get our education committee started. I'm calling this meeting to order. I'm going to open us up in prayer. If everyone will please bow your heads. Father God, we just come before you today just thanking you for this amazing opportunity. Another opportunity for us to gather information, to be more equipped, to walk in purpose, to be a resource to folks, and to be blessed to be a blessing, Father God. We just thank you that the conversations that are had here today are able to edify the hearers and really help them to improve their quality of life and move further in life. And so we just thank you for it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Would like to get approval of the agenda minutes for February 21st, 2022. You should be able to see those minutes in your packet. And so, do I have a motion to approve?
Approve the minutes.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Those minutes will be approved. Thank you. Today we have the opportunity to have some presentations to go forth today. We were supposed to have three, however, the Southern Museum of Flight had to actually pull out today, and so they will give their presentation at a later date. But we are fortunate to have Scholars for Justice, Ms. Crystal Brister here with us, who is going to share with us exactly what Scholars for Justice is and talk to us about the legislative theater event that they have scheduled for April the 23rd. And so, Ms. Crystal Brister, if you would come. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Councilman Moore, and the rest of the council for inviting us here today to share a little bit about our program. My name is Crystal Brister. I'm here on behalf of myself and Brayton Birmingham to discuss with you guys Scholars for Justice. Scholars for Justice is a collaboration between us that will use a student-created play to be a vehicle for social change in the community. Please. Oh, the slides are not up. Okay. So legislative theater brings a foreign play in front of an audience of policymakers and the impacted community with the intent to develop policy ideas generated by the impacted community. So in our case, that impacted community is students. This program was a natural progression of some of the social justice work that Breakthrough Birmingham was doing last semester when students were, last summer, when students were creating projects around social justice issues that were important to them. So we meet weekly during our sessions, and they are able to, have the next slide, please. Okay.
Check.
Thank you. So we meet weekly with students, and it's an opportunity for them to explore social justice issues that are important to them. Some of the things that have come up are racism and homophobia, a lot of trash in their communities and different things like that, and how that impacts them, crime in the community and what that has looked like for them. It's also an opportunity for them to develop their social emotional skill building set, so that they can learn how to work with other people and learn how to advocate for themselves and on behalf of others. And it has also provided the opportunity for them to communicate their voices and know that what they have to say matters in that regard. Have the next slide, please. So a simpler way to explain the process, again, we've been working for the last several months with students to create the play, which will be 5 to 7 minutes. The audience, we are inviting other students, principals, council members, etc. We have students from all over the city of Birmingham. So people will be invited to watch the play, and then they'll have an opportunity to come and act out their own solutions. So it's not about necessarily the acting being great, or, we're not trying to make the next professional actors per se, but really wanting people to have an opportunity to engage in a theatrical brainstorming and a civic dialogue in a different way. The next step in that process is that people will propose laws based on what they've seen and what they'd like to see in the community. We'll have a policy of experts that are familiar with the issues that the students are addressing. So people will propose laws. Those will be handed to the policy of experts. They'll say, oh, these 5 exist, these 10 don't, and they'll give me a couple to read. I'll have somebody come up and argue for and against each one. We'll vote, and then we'll write up a final proposal after the event saying, like, hey, this is what the community is saying they're wanting. What would you like to do with this information? So that's the gist of how the process itself will work. We'll also have an advocacy fair. Next slide, please. I'm like off to the side. We'll also have an advocacy fair. We think it's really important to connect students to resources and also other community members and people that will be there. There's a lot of great work going on in Birmingham and some of the things people don't necessarily know about. So we want to make sure that there's opportunities there for people to get connected with the work that is going on currently. Next slide, please. And we need your help. So one, we'd like you to come and engage in the process. Again, we're not putting on a play for performance sake. We're really wanting to see change. The students are really wanting to see change based on what it is that they're sharing. So one, coming and engaging with the process. I think the second piece to that is sharing with your network. So the other council members and just people in your space, sharing with them and encouraging them to come as well. Also donating to support the work. So we received a cross-sector impact grant from South Arts, and that has covered some of the costs of the program, but not all of it. So if you are able to donate to the cause, we would be appreciative of that as well. And lastly, acting on the policy suggestions proposed. So again, depending on where we land with the students and what specifically they'll be discussing, we use the word policy loosely. Some of these may be informal rules that people go by in the midst of the city, and some of them may be more formal. It really will be contingent on what the students highlight as their top priorities. Next slide, please. So yes, it will be Saturday, April 23rd, next month at 11 a.m. Ramsey High School's Youth and Government Club is going to be hosting us on site at Ramsey. That was an update from when I first sent the slides. Yes, do you all have any questions?
Council members, let y'all open it up.
Yeah, so I'm curious, how much education on, governance and just basic civics do you guys provide in the context of, creating these plays?
There's been some previous information that's been shared with students throughout. So some, as they've been sourcing some of those ideas, we've been doing some of our own research as well. We have a condensed time to work with them, so it's not as in-depth as we would like, but they have some previous knowledge and some information that we share throughout the process.
So our public information team here with the Birmingham City Council has created a document that was, there we go, Citizens Handbook. That could potentially be very helpful. It's very succinct and, just sort of explains the fact that municipal government has 3 parts of the government and what each role for each part of government is. So I know that we can make that available as a resource for you to hopefully help, because I think it's important for folks to understand when they're advocating for an idea, or whether that be a policy or a law or just any course of action, making sure that their ask is appropriate to the audience that they're speaking to. So, for example, I got a phone call to my office this morning from a constituent whose apartment was broken into. I'm a city councilor. If it's currently illegal to break into someone's home, but as far as the law enforcement piece, that's not my lane. So it's just important the reason that this comes out is because we spend every day pretty much trying to educate people about what it is that we do as city councilors. That's the reason that document, that Citizens Handbook, was created. And certainly if you guys are going to be advocating for policies and laws, I think it's important to, again, have some fundamentals of how government works.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Woods, you have any questions?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. One, just kind of want to get a feel for how long this has been going on, or is this something newer?
So it is. We worked with two separate groups of students. So the first group was in the fall of last year, and that was more, we didn't have a public event, COVID and all the things. That was more in-house. It was virtual. And this semester, we are working with a different group of students. So we've been working with them since the end of February.
Okay. And then how many, students do you aim to kind of work with?
Can you give me more context? How many we're working with currently or in the future? Or?
Yeah, I guess in like a cohort or at a time, so to speak, as far as, yeah.
Yes, at a time, 15 to 20.
Okay. Yeah, sounds really interesting. I'm going to definitely put this on my calendar and come check it out, but I think it's a very interesting event.
Thank you.
And just so I'm clear, how old are the students that you're working with?
So they're 6th through 11th grade, so their ages vary, so 13 to 17-ish.
Okay. And students at different schools?
Different schools, yes. So don't quote me on everybody, but I know we have some students from WJ Christian, from Huffman High School, Wilkerson, Magic City Acceptance Center, Holy Family, and I'm missing one.
He said Cornerstone.
What'd you say?
Cornerstone. He was pretty funny. Okay, and so. Oh, in the picture? Okay.
Cornerstone. No, we actually do. Yes, yeah. That would be the one that I'm missing. Cornerstone. Yes.
Okay. Now, I think it's really cool to put students in the position to influence policy changes through art. That's really cool, and I don't think I've ever heard of anybody, doing that. I mean, that could be my ignorance and just not knowing enough about the space, but I think it's an awesome way to, kind of get students involved. And as Councilor O'Quinn made mention of, the PIO team actually created this handbook, and I wanted to make sure that, I offered this to you all so that, it could be something that you could implement in your program as well. Because more students need to know about, city government and how it works and how to partner with positions like city councilors and mayors and things of that nature. And so I just think what you all are doing is really cool, and it's really going to, help to just bring more clarity and understanding of how to get involved in your city and how to make change. So thank you. Thank you all for what you do. Yeah. And so just want to make sure that I reiterate that the program will take place on Saturday, April 23rd at 11 a.m. That's when we'll be having the advocacy fair, and then 12 p.m. will be the legislative theater event at Ramsey High School, correct? Thank you. And if you want to learn more, you can go to is this the bit.ly, the bit.ly/Scholars for Justice to learn more information about the program. Or you can reach out to Ms. Crystal Brister in her email, Crystal, CRISTAL at crystalbrister.com. All right. And so Now we want to go ahead and move along. We have a special guest here from Alabama Possible, Miss Manisha Mishra, that is going to talk to us about Alabama Possible, their program, what they do, and how they are doing an amazing job at being a resource to students here in the city of Birmingham and throughout Alabama.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
First of all, I would like to thank Councilman J.T. Moore for inviting us and giving us this opportunity and providing us with this platform to speak about the organization that I'm really passionate about. So if we can have my presentation, please. So Alabama Possible is a statewide nonprofit organization, and for the past close to 30 years, we have been shifting the conversations around poverty and education in the state. Next, please. And our mission is to break down barriers to prosperity throughout the state. And how we do that, there are 3 ways we do that, is through education, through collaboration, and through advocacy. So we can never move ahead without the support of our sponsors and our funders. They have put their faith in the work that we do. They believe in what we do, and that is how we've been growing by leaps and bounds. We have a very small but mighty team of 5 people. I am based in Birmingham. One person, our executive director is in Mobile. Our partnerships manager is in Montgomery. Our data and research manager is in Austin. And our communications and programs specialist, she is in DC. So we are all from Birmingham. We are all from Alabama. But the 2 of them are currently, because of COVID, they were able to do that, and we have been functioning very well remotely. So these are sponsors, and then we have partners in this work. Obviously, without this partnership, this work wouldn't have been able to go forward. We partner with Alabama State Department of Education, Alabama Community College Systems, Alabama Commission on Higher Education, and this Get Educated, which is Edu Inc., is a new partner, and I'll explain in a few more slides what we do with them. Next, please. So Alabama Possible scope of work. So we initially were doing a lot of post-secondary access, which is making sure that the financial barriers for students moving on from high school into post-secondary education was removed or was taken care of. And we did a lot of free application for federal student aid. We did a lot of work in that area, which is FAFSA, and kind of encouraging students, introducing them, their families to FAFSA. But we saw that we were poised for the growth to the next level. So right now we do a lot of post-secondary success work too, which is basically once they are in post-secondary, any kind of post-secondary institution, whether it's a 2-year, 4-year college, whether they want to go into workforce, whether they want to go into military, we kind of partner with those institutions to make sure the students are successful once they are there. And then we do a civic engagement. We go out into the communities, and I'll show how we do a lot of civic engagement, and we make sure that those communities are involved in the process, and that guides our advocacy work and policy work that we do. So these are a few of our initiatives that are there. Alabama Goes to College campaign, which is part of our post-secondary access. Then we have Degrees When Due, which is post-secondary success. Alabama College Attainment Network, we are the convener of this network. Barriers to Prosperity data sheet, which is part of a civic engagement. Then we have Higher Education Alliance, and then we have a Break It Down discussion series. So I'll start with Alabama College Attainment Network and go more into Alabama Goes to College, because that's basically what we are doing for Birmingham City Schools. So with our Alabama College Attainment Network, Alabama Possible is the backbone organization. So we provide the support that the network needs. And the network is actually a collaboration of over 70 members who are in the post-secondary access, success, and the workforce areas. So we have 70 members statewide who are part of this group, of this network. And the founding members, like I mentioned, were our partners, Alabama Community College Systems, Alabama Commission on Higher Education, and Alabama State Department of Education. They were the founding members, we were the backbone support, and we kind of collaborated with the national organization, National College Attainment Network. and we are part of that group. They have over 25 state members with them. So, and then what we do with Alabama College Attainment Network basically is we try to make sure that students, whether it's high school student, post-secondary students, they have access to resources, and the access is equitable. It's not only that they have access, but they have equitable access to resources. Like you'll see how we go with our Alabama Goes to College campaign to provide students, especially students of color, students who come from under-resourced families, and students, first-generation students. We want all students to be successful with special emphasis or special collaboration with these schools who are having those kinds of students who don't have any kind of support system or any kind of resource. So we kind of collaborate with the counselors to support the counselors. That's what we do through the network, and that is what is the mission of the network, is to help these students kind of align themselves with whatever they think works best for them and help them choose what they think is best for them. So without kind of telling them, okay, this is for you and that this is not for you, we provide them both the opportunities and they decide what is for them and what is not. That is how we work with the network. So if we can go back 2 more slides, please, where the initiatives are there. 1 more. So over here, we actually are excited about our Higher Education Alliance. We have over 22 2-year and 4-year college institutions around the state who are members of our Higher Education Alliance. And with them, what we do is we provide them with technical assistance. We provide them with a lot of support that they need for their students to be successful. But the thing is, we let them guide us. What is the support that they need? And then we provide that kind of support. Because not all the institutions are the same. They have their uniqueness. They have their things that they need more than the other institutions do. So that is how we kind of support them with their guidance. Then we have the Alabama, the degrees when due, you'll see. We have some exciting news right now. Alabama Possible is the convener of the first ever network for predominantly black community colleges and historically black community colleges. So when we were talking about this, we were discussing about this with 2 national organizations. One is Complete College America and the other one is Lumina Foundation. So we were surprised to find that there is no network for predominantly black community colleges and historically black community colleges. So since Alabama has a maximum number of HBCCs and PBCCs, what we did was Lumina Foundation has already invested more than $1 million on this project, and Complete College America is providing the support. They are providing the technical assistance. We have all 8 HBCCs and PBCCs in the state who are members of this, and we are providing them with grant opportunities, any kind of funding, whatever they need. We are kind of doing that through Complete College America. So all this is freely available to them. And we have had already 2 meetings with them, and 2 webinars have been completed so far, and they have been really appreciative of it. Their surveys that we have, the post-webinar surveys, have all been very positive. So we're excited about this relationship because we started, like literally in January we started, and it's March now, and we are seeing the impact that it's having on those institutions. So that is a big thing that we are really happy about and proud of that project, because it associates us with, because you know, it's for some students, we want students to feel like community colleges are the first choice, not the last choice, right? We want them to understand how it is, and so we are trying to poise these community colleges so students can come in here, and the Pell Grant, which is for free, students don't have to pay back, covers the community college for a semester. For the entire year, it'll cover. So they can go 2 years without having to pay anything and then go on to a 4-year college. So that poises them for success. So that's what we are doing with the HBCC, PBCC network. And then we have Higher Education Alliance, I mentioned about that. We have Barriers to Prosperity data sheet. So this data sheet is published every year, and we try to improvise it every year depending on the feedback we get from the community. For example, this year we added the insurance part for the first time. So we have educational attainment, post-secondary enrollment data, we have poverty data, we have hunger insecurities. We have all that data published in that data sheet. And we do not do any surveys, we don't kind of reach out to the community for this, what we do is we collect all the information from surveys that are already being done, from the census survey, all those we collect and we tabulate all of them and form this data sheet. And that Barriers to Prosperity data sheet is what we use for our break it down discussion, which is 3 parts. So the first part we did actually right during COVID, which was awesome because it was on virtual. And we got a lot more people to communicate. What we do is we partner with somebody from the community. For example, when we did Jefferson County, we partnered with a partner over here in the county, and they were the ones who invited the community to come in. So we had a lot of who you call unusual suspects. We had a homeless person who was there, but he was able to get on this virtually because he has a phone. He has a phone, and from his car, he got on this. So we had a lot of people who said the feedback we got was it was easier for them to come on into these conversations, because if it's in person, first of all, the homeless person said, I don't know when I can take a shower. So I cannot go into these, I just cannot walk into these discussions. So for them to be there and know that their voice matters is what we try to do. And what we have done, for example, we had this community where they kind of came in and they talked about transportation, about childcare, and that is, we have already completed this in 6 counties, the first step, and that is what we've been hearing consistently about childcare facilities, about transportation. So we don't, all we do is facilitate. We don't guide them. We don't guide them with any kind of information. They see the data that has been published. They bring in what they want to talk about. And we just facilitate it and make sure that everything is in order. Another thing we got from a feedback from another community is that when they have, like when this person had gone into in-person discussions, she said there were already cliques over there, right? People were already together, and I was by myself. So I didn't know where to join, where I would feel welcomed. So what we started doing is we have now built out a plan where the first step will be a trust building exercise. So that will be where we are having community discussions. The second step will be empathy building, where we will invite elected officials to kind of take the poverty simulation, which is virtual, and then come back and discuss what was learned, what were the learnings, what did they find out. That will be for the elected officials. And our third one is the action plan step, where what we will do is bring both the groups together, whether in person or virtually, whatever works at that point, bring both these groups together and find some action plan. What can we do to help elevate this issue in this community and help remove that barrier? So that is what we are doing with the Barriers to Prosperity discussion series. Next, please. Okay, so this is part of how we support schools, which is the Alabama Goes to College campaign. And what we do through this campaign is we equip counselors or high school educators, career coaches. We equip them with tools. We equip them with resources to support them so they can assist their students through the post-secondary journey, starting from applying to colleges, applying for FAFSA, even kind of acknowledging the students that this is the decision they have made and how we acknowledge them and celebrate them. That's what we do through this. So the first one is Cash for College, which is otherwise FAFSA. That is free application for federal student aid. So what we do in Cash for College, the goal is to have every graduating senior have a pathway, have a way, have an opportunity to apply for FAFSA so they can get that federal aid that is out there for them. Now, towards those, next slide, please. Towards those efforts, last year, 2021 in April, now this is the State Board of Education, they voted, this didn't come through the legislation, it came from the State Board of Education. So they voted for FAFSA completion to be a high school graduation requirement. So what they did is from an opt-in model, they moved it to an opt-out model. Because we kind of advocated for this policy, we told them that there are a lot of students who really cannot apply for FAFSA because of whatever reasons. They cannot apply for FAFSA. So what they decided to do is opt-out model where if a student cannot apply for FAFSA, can sign an opt-out waiver. And that waiver can be signed by the parent, by the counselor, by the principal of the school, or by the superintendent. Anybody can sign that waiver. So we are making it easier and easier to encourage students to apply for FAFSA because they see what is out there. For example, National College Attainment Network, they had said the graduating class of 2021 had left behind $67 million at the table. Now, this $67 million, which counselors always ask us during our presentation, is not nationwide. It is just Alabama. Yes, sir.
Can you talk a little bit more about specifically the purpose of the opt-out waiver?
So the opt-out waiver is first because that kind of money is being left behind. So we saw the students who are leaving behind. Out of those students, which is last year it was 53% of students left behind, did not apply for FAFSA. Among those 53%, 50% of students are actually eligible for FAFSA. And they didn't complete FAFSA because, one, there was no knowledge about FAFSA, because they were first-generation students, their families couldn't guide them. So with this FAFSA policy being put in place, it encourages students to apply for that FAFSA, because if a student sees that, okay, I cannot, and it is not that they cannot graduate. They can graduate by using the opt-out waiver. So it is either you have the opt-out waiver or you have the FAFSA completed. FAFSA completed means FAFSA submitted. Sometimes students are, they kind of have verification, right? So that also goes for FAFSA submitted. We just don't want students to lose out any money that they can get towards their education. That is our main intention. And so this was done by the State Department of Education Board. They kind of, we advocated for it and they agreed with it. And I think they voted 6-3 for that vote, and it was put in place. And next slide, please. So what so this talks about the FAFSA completion. So this talks about where we are right now. So where we are right now is that, next slide, please. So you'll see, because this was put in place, right now we are ranked 20th in the nation. Alabama has never been in the top 20 in anything, I guess, but they are getting there. But because of this, we are now ranked 20th among the nation, all the states. And then what happened is we are at 47.4% FAFSA completion right now, which is a 17% increase over last year during this time, as of March 4th. So it is a 17% increase for our state. So we are at 47.4. Next slide, please. So, and we are ranked second in the nation. Now, mind you, we have, since it didn't come through legislation, we have absolutely no funding. So we are doing what we can, as much as we can, right? So in spite of that, we are ranked second in the nation for year-over-year increase, which was 17%. So we are right now, like I mentioned, as of March 4th, we are ranked second. Next slide, please. So we have this Alabama Possible for all the schools. We have 371 schools who are members now of Alabama Goes to College campaign. And every year in December, FAFSA opens on October 1st. In December, as a mid-year assessment, we kind of award these Best Hustle Awards to schools who have improved 10% over the last year in FAFSA completion. And till last year, so last year we had only 53 schools who had done that, and we could attribute it to COVID and all, but it has never gone beyond 100 schools. But this past year in 2021, 213 schools were awarded this. And most of Birmingham City schools were in that list. In fact, I can give you data on Birmingham City schools. So Ramsey is 3% over last year. Jackson Nolan is the only one which needs a little improvement, but they are not way off mark. Winona is 2% above last year. Carver and Jackson Nolan are the two schools which are 3% below last year. Parker is 3% above. Woodlawn and Huffman both are 14% above last year.
Awesome.
So both Woodlawn and Huffman in FAFSA completion. So that goes to prove what you were asking is why was that FAFSA put in place? So we are now seeing that students are leveraging that avenue that is there. Students are looking at that and they are leveraging that avenue to where, okay, we know we have money out there, so might as well go for it. Otherwise, it's going to go to waste, right? So that is why we are seeing an increase in FAFSA completion, because there was a policy made for that.
Hold on just a second, because I think Councilor O'Quinn had a question.
Yeah. So the State Board of Education enacted a policy that requires FAFSA completion for graduation. So are the students who are not completing FAFSA, are they dropping out of school?
No, they are not. They have that opt-out waiver.
So explain that to me, because I haven't heard that before.
Okay, so the opt-out waiver is a waiver which a student can say that I am not going to be able to complete FAFSA. They don't have to give any reasons, no reasons asked, no questions asked. So they need to get it signed either by the parent, by the counselor, or by the principal or superintendent could sign that opt-out waiver. That will be considered in place of FAFSA completion. So this was...
But what happens after that? They just...
No, so because some students, I'll tell you, like what we have noticed is, for example, Mountain Brook high school students, right? Most of them won't be eligible for FAFSA because FAFSA has an income bracket, right? Mm-hmm. So those students are like, why should we complete FAFSA if we are not going to be eligible? We already know. So they can sign that waiver, and that will be considered as their FAFSA. But it is not that they are not going into college. They're going into college.
So explain it to me in the context of Birmingham City Schools. Why would Birmingham City Schools students not be completing FAFSA?
So Birmingham City Schools, I can give you anecdotal evidence. I cannot give you research-based evidence. But most of what we have heard is there are issues like, anybody who is an immigrant, does a DACA student, right, doesn't have a social security. If you don't have a social security, you cannot apply for FAFSA. So those are the kinds of feedback we have received. That's the only reason a Birmingham City School student might not apply.
Okay.
But the good thing about this is counselors are using the waiver as the last resort. So they are not encouraging students to go ahead and just sign the FAFSA waiver. What they're encouraging is apply, we will assist you in applying, and we'll see how it goes, whether you can make it or you are eligible or not eligible. So that is what's been going on for most part. And that is why we see these increase in FAFSA completions.
This is really good information. I don't know if you had another question, Council Woods, or not. No?
Yes, with that. I just had one quick thing.
One quick, okay.
I will not need the slides anymore. I'm good. One thing, another barrier to education that we have tried to remove. I was talking about the Get Educated Edu Inc. partnership. Mm-hmm. So what we have done over there is, just like Common College app is there, there's a Black College app, CBCA. So what happens is if any student in Alabama wants to apply to any of the 65 HBCUs, like there are about 65 members, if they want to apply to any of them, for them, that application fee is free. We have been able to remove that application. It is not a huge sum, it is $20, but for some families, that $20 really adds on. So we have been able, with Regents Foundation, they are our funder for that project, we have been able to remove that barrier for through the Common Black College application.
That is awesome. Okay, commonblackcollegeapp.com.
Yes.
Okay. And Kim, I don't know if we have that slide, but could we show that? It's the post-secondary access support slide that has the website.
This one, the one with the graph?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we could show that slide so that people would be able to see it. Yeah, that one right there.
So this is the access code that we have for the Common Black College application, which all students have been provided with. So any Alabama student can apply through by using this code. And they need to go to commonblackcollegeapp.com. I wanted to share one other thing also. If you can go to the next slide, please. So we have a lot of resources online too. We have built step-by-step FAFSA completion videos. We have a student and parent guide, we have a counselor guide, educator's guide, just for them to have access. And all this is for free. All this is available to them for free. Next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide. These are all the resources that are available. Next slide. Next one. Next one. So, and then this is something else that we have, a help desk. Anybody can call in for any kind of post-secondary pathway question, and we have this help desk. And then this is something I wanted to share with all of you. We are conducting a conference. This is our second annual conference, which Alabama College Attainment Network is hosting. And this time we have, the theme is Reimagining Strategic Pathways to Post-Secondary Attainment and Beyond. So we have people from workforce agencies who are presenting. We have speakers from high schools. We have speakers from colleges. We have national speakers also. So if you all, it's on April 13th from 9 to 4. We will have all the workshops also listed starting end of this week. So we would love to have any of you attend, all of you attend this conference.
Well, listen,
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming out, sharing this information. I don't know if okay.
Yeah, I just had a question. What about apprenticeships? Is there any, programming that's specifically trying to help kids who, are kind of focused on the term is escaping me, but some more of those skills-based employment programs, so is there anything that kind of directs students to apprenticeships?
So we have two ways that we are doing it. One is the Alabama College Attainment Network. So we have organizations who are partners over there, and they are already doing that work. So what we do is, if we get any questions, we direct them to those organizations.
Okay.
Because what we have realized is working in our silos is not going to help anymore. Mm-hmm. So what we need to do is all of us need to collaborate. So we are in the process of building a directory that will be published on our website, which will have every organization who is in this work, like whether it's, like you mentioned, apprenticeships, whether it's internships, whether it is, so all those organizations will be listed on there. That is one way. And the PBCC, HPCC network that I had mentioned, through them also, because, they have a lot of skills-based courses and all that. So we are going to go through that route and kind of catch students over there also.
Okay.
Any kind of skill trade or anything the students
Right.
want. Because for us, I think post-secondary education, we consider post-secondary education anything beyond high school, whether it is credentialing, any kind of certification course, military or workforce, if you want to go out from high school and work. So we need to celebrate that student too and provide him with the support he needs. So that's what we work for.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Really appreciate this information. I didn't know that new law had taken effect. And so, because like I said, we've had a lot of conversations the last few years just around getting the parents, because the parents have a major portion to complete to get those FAFSA applications done. And so that turned into a hurdle. And so we were constantly trying to do that. So appreciate that. And kind of going forward, if y'all are advocating for something and you need help with that, we'd be more than happy to plug in with that as well.
We really appreciate that. And I like what you said about parents. That would be one of the major help we will need. Mm-hmm. Getting parents, like we had family FAFSA nights during COVID, so 2020. Like we had free sessions, like all morning, evening, different times. People would sign up and not show up. Parents wouldn't show up. So but we started realizing, I think parents like these kinds of things to happen more face-to-face than virtually, because that trust factor is huge. And they think that their tax information is going to be out there. So we are educating, like if you use the data retrieval tool for FAFSA, none of the parents' information will be, it'll just not show up. It'll fill up in the back end. So that's what we are trying to do. But we have started in person. We had about 300 counselors attend. We did statewide in-person workshops, and Actually, Lawson State had the most because Birmingham City Schools, there were so many people from Birmingham City Schools, counselors and career coaches who attended that.
Well, Ms. Mishra, thank you so much for coming out and sharing this information. I know in 2011, I had the opportunity to actually work with Alabama Possible with the Blueprints College Access Initiative program and just really, walk students through, from step 1 or step A to step Z, what would it take to get to college? Helping them to identify, majors based off of their interests, working through, FAFSA, understanding how to go about looking for colleges and looking for scholarship dollars. And so it sounds like you all have continued to do that same work and, expand. And so just really appreciative for you all to come out today.
Thank you. You gave us a good foundation to build upon. Thank you. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Right,
I'm sorry I took a long time, but there's so much work I want to share with all of you. There's more left. So we'll do that at another time. But thank you all for this opportunity.
No problem at all. No problem at all. Moving on to new business, we have some vacancies on the Youth Advisory Commission. I just wanted to make sure that people are aware of that. Wanted to make sure that folks knew that there are currently 6 vacancies on this board. It's a 4-year term on the Youth Advisory Commission. You must be a resident of Birmingham. As far as duties, you are responsible for conducting a comprehensive need assessment of youth programs, responsible for reviewing all programs that are youth-oriented, that receive or request city funding or support. You also are responsible for finding ways to better coordinate the programs in order to optimize youth opportunities. Implementation of a challenge grant program to encourage creative and or innovative community youth programs. Anybody who would like to apply to this Youth Advisory Commission should go to birminghamal.gov/boards and agencies and look for Youth Advisory Commission. All right. Birmingham City Schools announcements. The Birmingham Board of Education will have a regular work session at 5:30 p.m. On tomorrow or on Tuesday, February 22nd, 2020, or that's tomorrow, right? Yeah, March 22nd. I read that wrong. March 22nd at their central office auditorium. The address is 2015 Park Place North, Birmingham, Alabama 35203. The meeting can also be viewed live stream at livestream.com/BCS. Masks are required inside the building, as well as a copy of the COVID-19 protocol will be in place. Copy of the agenda will also be posted when available. Let me see. And as far as that is, I wanted to make sure that, I allow any counselors, if you all have any announcements that you all would like to share, anything that you want the community to know, please feel free at this time. No? Cool. I want to let everybody know that we will have I know I kind of been talking about it a little bit at the city council meeting, the last city council meeting that we had, how the education committee also had the opportunity to go to the library for Read Across America Day. And so that video will actually be playing after the adjournment of our meeting. And so please make sure that you stick around to see that. It's definitely, a great fun activity that we had an opportunity to be a part of. But on a serious note, literacy is a very serious thing in our city. And it's something that, we need all hands on deck to address. And so from city councilors to, police officers to, mayors, parents, whoever you are in this city, we need everybody to, find ways to make literacy fun and to encourage our young people to read more and just expose them to new and fun ways to engage reading. So let me see. The next Education Committee meeting will be on Monday, April 18th, 2022. And so anybody that would like to submit items, please make sure, or if you would like to do a presentation here, make sure you reach out to Danielle Lee at Danielle, DANIELLE .Lee, LEE at birminghamal.gov. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second. I always do this. What do I say? All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the ayes have it. We are.
Wait till everybody get here, and then I'll just kind of set the scene as to what we're doing here today. You know, we have this opportunity to read to kids, but we really want to make it cool. We really want to make it fun, something that they can enjoy and that they'll have a good time with. But we're kind of struggling on how to make that happen. Like, I got these invites to go to different schools to read stories, but I'm really kind of struggling.
Yeah, getting kids to read is getting harder and harder. We need new solutions.
Yeah.
Any ideas?
I don't know, but
We've tried almost everything.
we have, but there has to be something else that we can do.
We can't give up. Something will come to us.
I wonder if there's a librarian that could help us.
Hey, counselors, I heard you guys were struggling trying to figure out how to read to students.
Yeah, harder and harder to get them engaged and keep them reading.
I know. We're all struggling with that. As a grandparent, I know that for sure. Hey, but you know what? The Birmingham Public Library, we have people that can help you. You ready?
Ready. Y'all ready, boss? Ready.
The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round, all through the town.
That was good, but we got a lot of schools, man. You think they got anything else?
I'm hoping that they do. I mean, it definitely was a good example of what we could do.
Yeah, you know, I think we need some more help.
Okay.
They got more heat. We could heat up the whole city.
Say hickory, dickory, dock. I'm always on the clock. I love taking lunch. I eat chicken a bunch. I pretty much like to munch.
But look, we got a lot of schools, so
Yeah.
I wonder if they got any more heat, because we need to reach all the kids.
Yeah, we got to do something else.
I wonder if they got somebody else. Let's see. Yeah, they got to, right?
Yeah.
Do y'all have anybody else?
Bring it! You forgot to bring it.
Right. I'm about to tell y'all about these Fudnutler brothers.
D4 finest.
Hear me out.
Go more.
There are so many things that you really should know. That's why I'm bothering telling you so. You should know about the first names of the Fudnutler brothers, who like to pile each on the heads of the others. If you start at the top, there's Bipper and Bud, and Skipper and Jipper, and Jeffrey and Judd, Horatio, Horace and Hendrix and Hud, and then come them Woody and Denty and Dud. Also Fitzsimmons and Frederick and Fudd. Also Slinky and Stinky and Stud. And down at the bottom is poor little Lud, but if Lud ever sneezes, his name will be Mud. Let's go.
It's a rocket in my pocket.
Hey,
I'm never gonna stop it.
don't stop.
City going like a rocket.
Man, we up. Man, we up.
To the top, we won't stop it.
Hey.
There's something going on every day at a Birmingham Public Library, but we're celebrating National Library Week, the week of April 7th, and that evening we're having an event called a novel tasting. It's a ticketed event. It's our first gala fundraiser to benefit the programming at all Birmingham Public Libraries. It'll be craft beer tasting, wine tasting, silent auction, live music. It's going to be a lot of fun, so you can visit us at cobpl.org for ticket or sponsorship information.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Greatly appreciate this, and we look forward to a lot more of the cool things that you all have going on. Oh, yeah. Let's go.
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
Hey.
Black fish, blue fish, old fish, new fish.
Got all the fish.
This one has a little star. This one has a little car. Say, what a lot of fish there are.
There you go.